Jennifer, for all the people, I get to ask questions today. And
So I'm on the other side of it.
Exactly. You're on the other side. I feel this episode will be of big learning for people who are getting into storytelling, getting into journalism, getting into something like, I want to share the story. Jennifer, 3 decades of news experience, meeting politicians, meeting industrialists, so many people, so many stories have come from you. How did it all start?
Well, thanks, Ashwin, first of all, for deciding to do this. Now, when I grew up, I was the daughter of a senior government official, and we kind of traveled all over this beautiful country with my dad. And I realized that everywhere I went as a child, there was always somebody who was telling us a story. It was either a village story or a folklore or a jungle story or an animal story or some kind of story. And then I realized that what everybody wanted to know, me particularly, because I was very inquisitive as a child and still am, that everybody wanted that story. And I, for one, definitely wanted to hear about it. And so I think that's where the seed was originally sown. And I think that was a great way to think that it's not what happened, it's what's behind what happened that's really important. Yes.
At your time, Jennifer, there's so much of career options today, And in the time when you were growing up and
Yes.
seeing your parents and choosing a career, how did you feel that this is what is my calling? I use the word calling. It's passion, it's something I want to do this. When did that start?
I absolutely agree with you that journalism can only be a passion. If it is a passion, I believe that you will succeed.
Right.
As I grew up, I actually became an air hostess with British Airways, BOAC.
That's a beautiful career by itself.
Absolutely. But what really kind of pushed me into this was I was the victim of an air crash many years ago. Not that many people know about it. But I realized that when I came out of that, what an amazing story that was. That people should actually know what it is to have that kind of horrible experience. I say horrible because it is something that proved to me that I did at that time what I was trained for. And we saved 190 people in 90 seconds.
Which year was this?
It was in 1968. It was a long, long time
So
ago.
what happened in that incident?
It was a terribly horrendous thing that the engine dropped off the airplane as it was taking off from London Airport. And there was total panic on the plane. But as a cabin crew member, I realized that the passengers, their lives were in your hands. You had to save them. And that's exactly what we did. We never thought of ourselves, Ashwin. In fact, my very first recollection of that whole incident was when I knew that the engine had dropped off, the window panes were all melting down, there was confusion within the plane. I just made the sign of the cross. That's all I did. And I really thought that that was the end of my life. But somehow I do believe that there was a God above who saved our lives. 6 people were actually killed in that accident. They died because a fire broke out and it was a horrendous experience. However, when I came out of it and I did not fly again for about 6 or 8 months because it was too frightening. The whole episode was so bad. I thought, but people need to know. I wonder if one day I could pursue what I had originally thought I would like to do. I could speak well, didn't look too bad, so therefore it was a nice thing that I could take up, and I enjoyed it very much. And though, of course, I started, as you know, my career with Doordarshan, and that was a tough start, I can assure you, because in those days there was only Doordarshan, there was nothing else. But that was where it all started, and I felt that people need to know what's behind that story. We know the airplane crashed, we know this happened, but what were you thinking? Did you really think that I should get out and save my life, or should you think that, no, it's these people who need to be saved first. They are our responsibility. In fact, one of our own cabin crew members who was there that day, actually, she died because she died trying to save a little girl who was a disabled child. So if you think about it, that was the story. There's always, I believe, a story within a story. I think that's very important.
Just talking about, it's quite interesting, even just the piece of this aircraft.
Yeah.
I can imagine, how an accident can... See, there's 2 things you could have done. One is sulk in life saying, this happened to me, and you could have just gone in another angle. But you use that accident to actually bounce back and say, hey, listen, if I can tell the story behind the story, somebody else will get to know the story.
Indeed. You're quite right, Ashvin. I didn't tell the story for many years. I kept it hidden within me because I felt that I did not want to be the object of pity. What I wanted to know was, and I wanted to tell people that, hey, this is what you're trained to do. This is what you must do. This is what you are called to do. And that was really the way I went forward. I went forward and I flew again for another 6 years. But even now, after so many years, I have to confess to you on the air that there's never a time when I'm in an airplane and I do not think of that incident that happened. So it never goes out of your mind. But at some point you say, I go with faith, let me go, and whatever will be, it's God's will, really.
In fact, talking about stories, what a story, Jennifer.
It is a story.
It is a story. And not only is it's a story, it also changed your career.
Indeed.
You know, a story can actually, one is to tell the story, but in your own personal life, it brought a shift.
That's true. You're absolutely right. I only told the story when I spoke with Enram of the Hindu, and I asked him, do you think? And he said, after so many years, for you to remember every single incident, every single second of that whole horrible episode, it's an amazing thing. And he said, I think we should put that story out. And then, of course, the story suddenly by magic appeared on YouTube. And I was horrified when I saw the pictures of this crashed aeroplane and I saw pictures of myself over there. And, I thought to myself, I wonder how that happened. I mean, at this day and age, that was so long ago. Where did it all come from? So that was a very cathartic, time for me, because writing the story, to sit back and to think of every second, what happened, when it happened. And my last memory, I have to say this because I pay respect to the girl who died, Jane Harrison. I pay respect to her because when she got the George Cross, I went back to London and I was so sad, Ashvin, because I met her dad and I felt so bad that he's lost his daughter and I am here. God has to have a purpose. There has to be something, the reason why she has died and I am alive. Yes.
Just this recent plane crash in Ahmedabad, brought us as a family to pray for the members who passed away. It's so painful because inside the aircraft is just your inside,
That's right.
And it's and we just pray that the families, whatever, the loss is a loss,
Of course.
But we just keep praying for them, and our heart moves for the people,
Absolutely.
who lose their lives, in this. But Jennifer, coming back to storytelling, I like what you said. Behind every story, there's another story.
Yes,
right.
that's so
I like
true.
that
Yes.
because every story unfolds.
Yes.
But there's a behind the scene also.
That's right.
For people who are saying, you know what, I'm really trying to pursue this line, I'm a storyteller. If you look at even the life of Jesus, he was a great storyteller.
Indeed. In fact, the whole Bible is based on stories.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking, since YouTube has come and platform itself has changed, for those who are saying, you know what, like Jennifer, I'm in a different career. Maybe I'm not a storyteller, but you know what? I like to tell stories. What's the one thing you would like to tell them? How did you catch that thing? You know what? I enjoy telling stories. What's the one thing you would like to tell the viewers?
Well, I think if you want to be a journalist,
Yes.
you have to be really passionate. You have to love what you're doing. There has never been one single day when I have woken up and said, oh, I have to go to work today. No, my joy has always been, what am I going to do tomorrow? What's my next story? Who will I interview? Who will I get? I wonder what the headlines are. Let me check. It's that enthusiasm that you have to generate, that you cannot train yourself for that. That comes from within, I believe.
More natural.
It's spontaneous. It's natural. It comes from somewhere inside you. This is what I want to do. And, after so many years, I still enjoy what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing. There's never a day when I think, oh, no, I'm tired today. I'm not going. No. I want to go. I want to see what's happening. I want to tell the story. Simple as that. Yeah.
So I think the big takeaway in this episode is you need to enjoy storytelling.
Absolutely right. If you don't enjoy storytelling, don't even start, because you cannot force yourself to be a good journalist. I really don't think you can, no matter what it is. You have to absolutely love your work, as with everything, whatever work you're doing. And if you love your work, you will do it well.
Yeah.
You will be successful.
Yeah. In the next segment, Jennifer, we were going to talk about, yes, okay, fine. The fact that there's a story behind the story. As you rightly said, I really enjoy telling stories.
Yes.
But there's a lot of work behind it, right?
Oh.
And there's a lot of packaging behind it.
Yes.
For those who are asking me those questions saying, you know what, yeah, I seem to enjoy it, but I don't know how to bring it out. You know, it's there within me, but how do I make sure others enjoy my story? See, a story can also be two sides. One
Yes.
is a beautiful story can go flat, and a flat story can become beautiful.
It's how you tell it.
It's exactly. It's how
you
you tell
tell
it.
it.
In the next episode, we're going to talk about how do you tell the story? How do you tell the story? If those who are saying, you know what, I want to know, I want to get this style from Jennifer. You know, I want to really want to get to know. I have amazing stories, but my struggle is how do I tell it? So, in the next episode, we're going to find out how do you tell the story. Thanks, Jennifer, for being with us in today's program.